Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Draymond Green Show. We are live on Gino's Hoops YouTube channel. NBA referee Eric Lewis is officially under investigation for his alleged burner account on Twitter. Apparently, the league is investigating if Eric Lewis violated NBA rules by speaking about officiating in an unauthorized manner. Basically, he pulled a Kevin Durant and made a fake account to defend some of his terrible calls. Personally, I never liked Eric Lewis, never cared for the guy. After he missed that call on my main man, Bron. 20 years in and still can't get any calls. Let's just take a moment in silence to recognize the greatness of LeBron James. Thank you. We're really out there trying to do our best, and you just have referees like Scott Foster and Eric Lewis who are just playing to their agenda. And personally, there's really no spot for that in our game, and I honestly hope the NBA fires both of these guys.
Well, my friend Draymond Green, these refs shouldn't be fired for anything at all. If anything, they honestly probably deserve a promotion. Let me explain. Since David Stern took over the league in 1984, he had one goal in mind: make NBA stars a household name. Think about it, anytime you go into a barbershop, go and look who's on the wall. You'll probably see LeBron James, Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and probably a couple other players too. All these players have transcended their names from just athletes into full-blown celebrities. NBA stars have become a staple in pop culture, and it's thanks to David Stern and his army of NBA referees. The way David structured the league is so that the referees will favor their star players. For a referee coming into the NBA, they basically tell you to eliminate everything you know about refereeing and learn the NBA way. This is what infamous NBA referee Tim Donaghy said in his book. As time passed, however, I began to realize that our job was more about reffing specific players as opposed to uniformly enforcing the rules of the game. Tim essentially had to learn a whole new way of reffing. He had to learn the NBA way. Now you might be asking me, what is the NBA way? It's quite simple. Let's go into number one. Number one, NBA referees must cater to superstars. Make sure that when you make calls into the game, it benefits the stars so they can perform at their very best. At the end of the day, the NBA is a show, and the stars are the star performers, so the referees have to make sure that the star performer is on the court as much as possible. For example, if you sit down to watch the Titanic and Leonardo DiCaprio is only in half of the movie, you're probably going to turn it off or be upset and disappointed. Or if you buy tickets to a Drake concert and he decides that he only wants to do half of a set and give the rest of half of his set to a lesser well-known artist, you'll probably feel cheated and will definitely be on Twitter and TikTok bashing Drake about how terrible a performer he is. The same thing happens in the NBA. If you decide that you're going to spend hundreds of dollars to go watch LeBron James play and he fouls out in the second quarter, well, I don't know about you, but I'm probably going to be pretty ticked off at the NBA referees that I came to see my favorite player and he's not on the court. So in order to keep the show as entertaining as possible, referees must cater to the superstars.
Picked it up and then he
But he didn't touch it with both hands.
Yeah,
That's the
he
thing.
did.
You think so, Michael? 55 hits, 2 to come.
If a star wants a call, give it to them. If a star is in foul trouble and they commit a foul, give the foul to the other player. And why, you ask? Because us fans, we want to see star players. No one comes to an NBA game or this year's NBA Finals to sit down and watch Bruce Brown versus Max Strus. No disrespect to those guys, they're great basketball players, but let's be honest, I'm not watching a finals if those two are the headliners. So what does the ref provide us? They provide us the stars. They make calls to benefit them and they miss calls to benefit them. They do everything in their power to make sure that we see the people we want to see the most on the court. And guess what we do? We continue to complain.
Now, my least favorable memory I have with NBA referees has to be back in 2016. Now, if you guys famously know, we blew a 3-1 lead to the Cleveland Cavaliers and the GOAT LeBron James. I got suspended for a play that I had with him over in Game 4. And now, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have put myself in that position to even let the refs extend the series. But that's what they did in Game 5 and in that series. And, they changed the course of history.
What Draymond Green just said right there is a great example of our second point. NBA referees must extend playoff series as much as possible. Let's go back to this year's finals and look at that for an example. The discourse around this year's finals amongst most NBA fans on social media is that it's going to be one of the most boring NBA finals ever. Why? Well, because we don't have LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, or Giannis Antetokounmpo in this year's finals. Even though we do have Nikola Jokic, who is arguably the best player in the entire game, he is not appealing to a casual fan. Compare that to the finals that we almost had, which would have been the Boston Celtics versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Two most historic franchises in basketball, the greatest rivalry the NBA has ever seen, and they're both fighting to get the 18th championship, which would be the most in NBA history. That storyline, way more interesting than what we have with Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. So if you're Adam Silver, what are you going to try to do? Get a Celtics versus Lakers finals. But unfortunately for Silver, both teams found themselves down 0-3 in the conference finals, meaning the NBA had to do one of the oldest tricks in their book: extend the series. If a series ends in only 4 games, the NBA is missing out on a potential $30 million. So the NBA wants their referees to make sure that we get game 6s and 7s as much as possible. Now, the NBA will never come out and tell a referee, hey, make sure this series goes to 6 or 7. But they indirectly tell them that also. Before every playoff game, the referees have their pregame meetings. And in these meetings, they tend to focus on calls on the last couple games to see what the refs are missing and what they need to pay more attention to. And when a team is trailing in a series, well, the NBA usually tends to focus on the calls that were missed, team leading, other than the team that is trailing. So the refs will go out there and make more calls for the trailing team. And it works.
When you look at the NBA during the playoffs, they send a representative in and you watch the games, and when a team is down 3-0 in the series, they show you film of the previous 3 games and they tell you what to look for and what to concentrate on.
So much so that the NBA has their own hand-picked referees to complete this task. In today's NBA, that referee is Scott Foster, nicknamed the Extender. In the 2022 NBA Finals, the Bucks led the Boston Celtics 3-2. The NBA wanted this series extended, so who did they call? Scott Foster. The Celtics won Game 6 and ended up winning that series. And it's no secret that Game 7s are great for the league. Let's take this year's Eastern Conference Finals for example. This series seemed done in the water as the Miami Heat took a 3-0 lead over the Boston Celtics. And that's when the NBA decided to step in.
Who do you think the Game 6 guy for the NBA is today?
Seems like Foster and Mark Davis are on a lot of games. Davis primarily for Game 6s, I think, and Foster seems to be on a lot of Game 7s.
Listen to who Tim Donaghy says the NBA brings in to extend these series: Mark Davis and Scott Foster. Well, if we just take a look at the Boston Celtics vs Miami Heat series, you will see a common trend. In a crucial Game 4 in Miami, Boston needed to win this game to have any type of hope of making a comeback. So who did the NBA call? Scott Foster. And you guessed it, the Boston Celtics won that game. Now, in a crucial Game 5 back in Boston, once again the Celtics needed to win this game to extend it to 6 so they can go back to Miami and hopefully extend it to 7. So who did the NBA call for this crucial Game 5? You guessed it, Mark Davis. And again, the Celtics won. But the real winner here was not the Boston Celtics, it was the NBA. The series ended up going to 7 games, and it was actually the highest watched Eastern Conference Game 7 on TNT in league history. In the NBA's Golden Boys, well, they did their job. They gave Silver way more money for the NBA. And us fans, well, we can complain all we want, but in hindsight, we got an amazing series and one of the best Game 6s that I've ever seen. I mean, this game was so great, I called like 3 of my friends after it happened, like, did you just see what Derek White did? He became the talk of the town overnight. And at the end of the day, I didn't see anyone on Twitter complaining about Mark Davis or Scott Foster extending the series or how bad the NBA was. No, I just saw everyone excited that we got a Game 7 of a phenomenal series. We were all happy. If this series would have been a sweep, well, we would have never got that Game 6 where Derek White literally saves the city of Boston. And regardless, the NBA Finals, unlike any other series, starts on June 1st no matter what. So if both teams sweep, they're not starting any earlier. So we would have had a week without NBA playoff basketball. And the NBA did what it always does. It catered to us fans. And it put the best referees they know, who did a phenomenal job in extending the series to 6 and 7, where we had a chance to watch great basketball. I mean, look, I'm not mad. I got a week of hoops I got to watch. Now brings us to our last point. Number 3. The fans want stars, so the league gives them stars. The game, like I said before, is officiated in a way to maximize entertainment. At the end of the day, the NBA is a show. You have to remember that. Even a diehard NBA fan is not going to a game to see players they barely know the name of. Nope, they're coming to see the big name players. And how does the NBA know this? Well, that's through the jersey sales. Each year, guys like LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Steph Curry are the top of the jersey sales in the NBA. If you go to a Laker game right now, you will see more people wearing Kobe Bryant jerseys than any other player on the team. Kobe isn't played for the team in 4 to 5 years, and he'll see more jerseys than a starter on the team like Austin Reeves. Why is that? Because people still care about their superstars, no matter if they played in the 90s, 80s, or even 70s over an average starter on the team right now. Buying jerseys is a way that fans are able to indicate to the league who we want to see, who we want them to make calls for, who we really care about in the NBA. And if we're not going to buy players like Austin Reeves or Max Strus, Michael Porter Jr.'s jersey, well, NBA isn't going to care about them. They're going to favor the LeBron James, the Stephen Curry, the Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Kevin Durant's of the world, because that's who we want to see. So that's who they're going to give us. And we'll be lying to ourselves and to say that we are not happy about this, because ask any NBA fan, they all wanted the Kobe Bryant versus LeBron James NBA Finals. And do you think in 5 years after that finals would have happened, we would be talking about, oh, the NBA extended the Eastern Conference semifinals so LeBron could win, or oh, they extended Kobe's series so he would meet LeBron in this year? Like, no. That wouldn't even come up. People literally would not care because of the fact that we got to see LeBron versus Kobe Bryant in the NBA Finals. And the NBA knows that. So that's why they're going to continue doing what they're doing. And like I said, to Draymond, no, I don't think any of these refs should be getting fired. I mean, Eric Lewis, yes, he has some wild allegations, but at the end of the day, guys like Scott Foster are doing a great job. They're doing what we want them to do, providing us the star players. So before you go on Twitter and complain about how bad the refs are in this game, or how this ref is bad, or how this ref did this or that, I want you to look yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself this question: would I rather go to a game and go watch Michael Porter Jr. versus Caleb Martin, or would I rather watch Nikola Jokic versus Jimmy Butler? You're going to remember the big star, big name players making the big plays. That's what you want. That's what we all want. And the refs understand that. And that's what they're providing us. At the end of the day, the refs are making the right calls to make the game more enjoyable for all of us. And to Scott Foster, if you're watching this video, disregard everything I said. Like, literally throw it all away. I still don't like you. I still think you're a terrible ref. You too, Eric Lewis, you have screwed LeBron out of our game, where he got fouled, obviously, by Jason Tatum, because you are a Celtics fan. And I think there's no place for you in this league. To everybody else, have a good one and keep doing a great job. So I realized I did this whole video and I didn't even talk about my hoodie. So my hoodie right here, you guys can see, get a good look of it. It's actually my roommate's company. So it's his brand, it's his hoodie. So I'm gonna leave the link in the description so you guys can go look at this and buy it. I think it's gonna drop pretty soon, but I honestly I have a lot of hoodies. Like, I have a lot of hoodies. See this first one Yeezy Gap. But look. Anyways, my point is I wear a lot of hoodies, and I'm not just saying this because he's my roommate, but I actually do. It's actually one of the most comfortable hoodies I wore. And yeah, so I vouch for it. So make sure you guys hit the link in the description, and make sure you guys subscribe also. All right, bye.